Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us from. If you do enjoy today's content, please consider subscribing to the channel. And when you do, please remember to hit the notification bell so you get any notifications of any future content we upload. If you would like to support my page a little further, you can do via Ko-fi, where you can donate a little amount as you wish. This can be from as little as £1, and you can increase or decrease the amount you'd wish to donate to help me continue our work on the channel. And all the links will be in this description of this video. So without any further delay, let's go to today's video. Enjoy.
Okay, excellent. I think we're all go. So Adam, it's a pleasure to have you with us today, mate, and thanks for getting in touch. For those who don't know you, my friend, if you could just introduce yourself and which club you're associated with and what you get up to, mate, then, really.
No worries. Adam Calvert, club secretary at Brandon. Done sort of most of the roles within the club. General dog's body, really. As you are as a club secretary, you do all the work, and that's
so you've been sort of kit man and secretary and a bit of everything then.
I started off as assistant manager for the first team 6 years ago.
Oh,
Came in to help. That was when the club had been relegated 3 years on the bounce, or 2 years, sorry, on the bounce, in Division 3. Hadn't won a game in 2 years. I was asked if I could come and help with Molly down in Ulster. Obviously, you have to come and see how it goes for a season, and never look back, really.
Okay, cool. So how did you actually come across with Brandon in the very first place then? How did that all happen?
Born and bred. I was born down in Ipswich, moved up to Brandon when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
Played for the youth team, Brandon Lads as it was, now Brandon Town CFC from age 5, maybe 6. Came through the ranks, left when I was 18, went to uni, came back again at 22 and never left since, sort of thing.
Yeah, so you have literally got Brandon Town in the veins then, mate, basically.
Some would say for stupid reasons, but yeah, no, it is it's one of those things that, a couple of guys there you can't say no to. As much as you want to, and you want to try and get away from it, you can't. It's impossible. Their enthusiasm for it is after 50 years. Paul Wright, the chairman, he's been there 52 years, and you can't get away from his love for the club, his enthusiasm. It's just incredible, infectious, to be fair.
So as all these roles that you've done and your current role, obviously they are a volunteer role. So how many years have you actually been a volunteer and a servant for the club then, in that respect?
6 years. This will be my 7th year.
Wow, okay. So how many, with your role at present with Brandon, how many, just to give people an idea on work-wise or anything, how many hours would you say, obviously, roughly a week, it takes of your time doing what you do? Probably
about 20.
Okay.
Give or take, 20 hours a week. Give or take. Some weeks it's more, some weeks it's less. Depends what's going on. Around sort of December, when the games are on, sort of, it's a lot less because there's not a lot of work to do outside of the remit, But come the summertime, when it's registrations, get the pitch, working on the pitches, looking for grants, getting kits sorted out, other bits, it does add up. The last weekend, obviously, with the announcement from the government saying about fixtures and pre-season friendlies can start, we just didn't stop for 4 or 5 hours on Saturday afternoon. It's ridiculous. It's good, but it's ridiculous. It's good to have football back, but it just shows that we were sought after team. People wanted to play us in the reserves, so it's good to see.
Okay, so things like you say, obviously fixtures and grants and bits and pieces, they all fall on your shoulders then, mate, basically.
Yeah, you say that and people say, oh, it's like having another part-time job, but it's not a job if you enjoy doing it.
I've always said if you do something you enjoy, you'll never work a day in your life, is what I've always heard and been told.
Yeah, no, there's definitely one thing. You know, when I joined the club, one of my greatest things, when I joined the club, they hadn't won a game in 2 years, and I'll never forget saying to the boys in the chat, first game you win, I'll get the beers in. And that cost me nearly £100 that day. But it was worth it to see the enthusiasm and the self-belief in the boys come back, and everyone else was happy that we'd finally won a game for a while, and it was good, you know. We'd finally got it. Boys cracked into what we were going, and they all sort of brought into the belief. And that first season, we won some, we lost some, we drew a few. We stayed up, and everyone was happy. We pushed on the next year. We won a few more. You know, we didn't go up. The third season, we got promoted. You know, that was when I dropped out of being assistant manager halfway through that season, third year, and went into the back and sort of helped out behind the scenes.
Okay, cool. So just for those who aren't aware of the club's current status, what league is the first and reserves in then, mate?
First are in the Anglian Common Division 2.
Yep.
And the reserves are in Central and South Norfolk Division 1. We got promoted this year. Bit of a tough one, really, to say, because obviously before COVID, they were top of the table. The reserves were top of the table, hadn't lost a league game all season. Had only drawn one against the team they were third in the league, 1 point off promotion and 4 points off winning the title.
Well, I was about to actually say next, you know, how was life before lockdown and the season came to an abrupt halt? But obviously what you've just said is obviously clearly the club is moving in the right direction with both teams, yeah, by the sounds of it.
A few years ago, probably not last summer, the summer before, Rig, the chairman, and Mark Marriott, the vice chairman, both sort of said they never thought we'd see senior football at the club again. And we're not there yet, but we're not far from it. And you know, talking to them in the summer, last year was probably our best chance in a long time. You know, when COVID hit, we were second in the table. You know, when you worked out points per game, we finished third. But with the run in, we were really up for it. We thought we'd do it. You know, the form from Christmas, we'd only lost 2 games between January and end of March. And, it was a shame that it finished the way it did. Obviously, it had to, because it was no other way, no other options, no other way around it. But it was a shame.
Yeah, and unfortunately, mate. Obviously, it is obviously a shame how football had to come to an end. And you know, I've spoken to many managers who have missed out on potential promotion, or some of them have managed to stay in the league from not getting relegated. But having said that, really off the pitch, Brandon's been a busy little club. Whilst in lockdown. So even though there's been negatives, to be fair, from what I've seen on social media with pitch maintenance and new dugouts built, you know, it's obviously Brandon have made perfect use of the time, what they've got basically.
Yeah, we've been lucky. The support we get from the town is phenomenal. It really is. You know, and before that, you know, it was a stupid thing we brought up once in a meeting probably 5 years ago, was the idea of doing pitch-side banners and adverts, and a few companies said, yeah, we'll give it a go for a year and see how it goes. And a couple dropped out of the season, a couple dropped out, a couple more came on board, and it's grown from there. And then when we applied for the dugouts, we had to obviously have a plan of mission for it, we knew what we wanted, and we did it. There was a lot of people upset locally in terms of residents on the avenue. They weren't happy at all, but the council saw what we were trying to do, the town council, the local council saw what we were trying to do, and they supported us, they backed us. I think personally the highlight of all the dugouts was the fact that we got it all done for less than £100.
Wow, excellent.
The blocks were donated by Lignacite. Omar Park and Homes gave us all the wood for the roofing and the felt for the roofing. Brecton Roofing donated all the sort of like the fascias and stuff like that. And I think the only thing we paid for was the concrete, even then that was at a reduced rate from the concrete company. So it was a good little project with the local companies and stuff, and that's how it worked. I always ask a silly question to someone because you never know what you get if you don't ask.
Well, it's funny you say that, mate, because I must say, you know, I have seen everything that's been going on and off the pitch with virtually every team. You know, I've seen that there's been a lot of hard work put into pitch renovations as well. Unfortunately, you know, we saw that the generator was stolen in broad daylight from you guys, unfortunately. But touching on the community again, that soon again shone through because you got assisted with another one, I believe, and
Yeah,
so you
within
can
2
carry on
hours.
off the pitch that's been reseeded.
Yeah, well, I think I put it on Facebook at about sort of 11 o'clock, maybe midday on the day it got stolen. And within 2 hours, one of the local companies who work just literally across the road from where we are said, "Look, we've got a spare generator. If you're interested, you're more than welcome to have it. Just come collect it." And we had it up and running within sort of another, you know, within 4 hours of the original being stolen, we had another one back in stock and it was running. So, yeah, that really helped. That was a CNC bit. That was superb. Really helpful.
Cool. So is it just reseeding that Brandon have done to the pitch, or have you done a few more little bits and pieces?
Well, last year we spent a lot of money. We reseeded it. We vertically drained it, seeded, topsoil, sand. The whole, you know, we really spent some money on it, and that's down to the playing field committee. They gave a fair bit. The football club put a lot of money into it. The youth teams, football club put some money, and we all worked together as a unit and just smashed it all out. Obviously, we put the fence line up last year. That's another thing that upset the local residents, but what can you do? You know, it's all, the thing is, people don't like change, do they?
No, we don't adapt to change very well, do we?
And the football club had gone from being, in the last, I'd like to think that since I've been involved, the football club's gone from being a team on playing field to a club which has got a bit more of a feel to it. You know, we're still working on things behind the scenes. We've got a meeting on Sunday where we're hopefully going to sign off all the renovations in the clubhouse and the bar. New carpets, curtains, doorway entrances, tables, chairs. You know, that just sort of make that a bit more modern. Upgrade that. The money's there if we need it. The money's there. We've applied for a few grants and sort of funding options, and it's looking positive. So the club is growing it. You know, the frustrating thing for me was when I was sort of 14, 15, Brandon Football Club was top of the Prem. You know, they were up there, first, second, third. You know, they never won it, but they were up the top. They were in the top 5 all the time, and it's fallen quite heavily. And it was slowly rebuilding from the foundations up, get it back to where it was.
No, it sounds absolutely fantastic, mate. And to be fair, obviously, you know, the boys who will be putting on the shirt of Brandon have obviously got something to look forward to, improvement-wise, and obviously, like you say, moving forward. And as a club and a community, you're not standing still. You're moving with the times, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a case of having to. You stand still. It's obvious at the minute with non-league football, amateur football, if you want to call it that. Clubs are disappearing daily, if not weekly. And
yeah.
If you don't grow or show some sort of willing to progress, you'll be the next one to go. Personally, I've spent too much time, effort, and money into it. Nowhere near what others do. You know, people throw money at football. That is one thing I cannot stand. You know, why throw money at amateur football? If you're desperate for a tenner or a fiver, you're doing the wrong thing. Go to work on a Saturday afternoon instead of play football. You know, that's my personal opinion on it. If you're playing in the Prem, different kind of pitch. But if you're in Division 1, maybe, but Division 2 and downwards, I don't get it. Don't get it at all.
Sure. So, I mean, really, you know, through no fault of your own, you know, with your neighbours, Thetford Town and obviously Munford just up the road, how has that been sort of to attract players or, you know, sort of say like targets the managers want with the likes of Munford and Thetford just there? And I suppose you could say Ealing's not a million miles away from you either, really, geographically. So, you know, unfortunately, where you're plonked on the map, how's that fared for you?
Thetford have never really been a contender for players because they're looking at a different calibre. You know, they're looking at the level above. There are a few players that have gone and left us and played there, but at the same time, there's been a few lads that couldn't get in the side there and have dropped down and played for us. You know, Brad Sandell, he came over for years, and he came over for a few games, sorry, and he played not last season, season before. He finished the season with us. were superb. He was part of the, he's one of the reasons why we got promoted towards the end of that last season. Couple of others, Bruno, he's now at Mumford. He played a game or two for us. Players have dropped to play for us due to the manager. It's not necessarily things the biggest role for us players-wise. I mean, it's probably Laken. We've lost quite a few to there at the minute.
Yeah, true.
Actually, Underwood this week, or last week, he went to Laken. He signed on there. Good luck to the boys that do it, because if you're progressing, you're going up the levels. We can't fault. It's when players stagnate and go across at a similar level or drop down a level. That's the frustrating bit. They're good enough to play higher.
Am I right in saying, is it Will and Stephen in charge of the first?
Yeah. Will Father and Steve Gallico.
How is their sort of lockdown, end of season, now pre-season sort of plan sort of gone, so to speak?
To be fair, the end of season plans were, the season ended so quickly, no one could plan for anything. Obviously we were hoping that the leagues would have looked at who's played what over the season and who's done well, who should have really come down. There's a couple of teams in Division 1 that should have come down, in Division 2, but there were a team or two in Division 2 that really, had the season played another 2 or 3 games, they'd have been confirmed as coming down. So they were a bit frustrated with that, because obviously that probably meant we'd have gone up or potentially gone up. So it sort of changed everything at the AGM when the Constitution was put out saying that it was still in Division 2. Fair play to each. They were superb last season. They deserve to go up. And I think, to be fair, they'll probably do really well in Division 1 and look for the Premier League season. They'll be up that end of the table for certain. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. The plans for them were sort of push for promotion last season. That was always the aim. The aim was, from last season, was promotion. But it will be the same this year.
Excellent. So with obviously Brandon's excellent run on the pitch before last season come to a bit of a bit of a halt. Sort of how have obviously depends on lots of things, but how have the crowds been at Brandon from the community? Do you get a decent average, or do you get the same few?
It's always the same faces, but you normally get somewhere around the 50 mark. It's not because it's on a public playing field. It's in the middle of town. People sort of walk past and they'll stop for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But because there's no covering, if it's wet, you get no one. You get no one. There's no sort of hardcore. Yeah, we'll be there. Come wind, rain or shine. It's if it's wet, no one can come. If it's a nice sunny day, because it's on the middle of a big playing field and it's a bit of a sun trap, the bar's only sort of 100 metres across the sort of field, you get a fair few. Pre-season, you normally average a lot more than you do come January sort of time. But they're normally all right. You normally get the same few that come regardless. As long as it's not wet. If it's cold, they'll be there. If it's baking hot, they'll be there. But good. They're a good bunch of. We're lucky. We are lucky. There's no other Saturday side in Brandon, so there's no competition for players or people to watch. They've also got the first team reserves. But other than that, if anyone wanted to watch amateur football, they'd have to leave the town. They'd have to go to Deptford, Blakeney, Mountford as such, and go from there.
Cool, and just touching on community a little bit more, mate. It's absolutely fantastic. And again, for those who aren't aware of what it is or how it works, you guys have done the Boots to Africa again.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. We cleared the kit room out last summer, and we boxed it up, and there was 6. I've worked in removals for a long time, and we call them closed cartons. They're probably sort of 3 foot long, 1.5 foot wide, by about 10 inches deep, and we managed to pack them up. There's 12 full kits in there, probably another 10, 15 pairs of shorts, socks coming out, just coming out of your ears. There was so much kit, it was untrue. And the kits we've had, some of them were from the early 90s, sort of all the way through to probably stuff I brought with me when I left the Sunday Club. Before I joined the Saturday Brandon on Saturday, so there were kicks from there still, as well as old kicks we've had since I've been involved in the town. That was a nice little project. Amber, who is one of the coaches from the youth team sector, she's gone out to Ghana for years. She's done it for the last probably 6 years. She's gone out every year. She's always brought videos, pictures and stuff. And then it was an opportunity. It was too good to miss. Obviously, the youth team put a lot of stuff towards it. And we said, well, hang on, let's do the same. Let's get it out there, sort of thing. So that's what we did.
Yeah, I see. It was very well supported, and it was another success, mate. Basically.
It was nice to show that you can do something. Obviously, the community give us a lot, and the local companies, like I said already, leaving the site, the dugouts. That's good to think. You know, how much would a pallet of 3 pallets of blocks cost then? Probably cost them peanuts to make, but they could probably sold them for £100 a pallet. I don't really know what they cost, but it was donated out of their gesture of goodwill sort of thing. And Omar's superb company. They've helped us from day one. As soon as I came in, I've managed to make the right contact. They've done the kits for 4 years. They've done polo shirts. They've helped us with dugouts. They've helped us out with bits in the club. They've built us picnic benches for outside. Things like that. You don't get that every day from anyone. And that was just one company. You know, we're very lucky. Very, very lucky.
I was going to say, and I'm sure you've got plenty of new sponsors and plenty of retaining sponsors for the coming season, my friend.
Yeah. Well, we've changed the system of the boards. Obviously, we had the advert boards around the pitch or the fence one, and then we made the fence up last year. We put them on a 7-foot board. Local people weren't very impressed with it because they thought it was an eyesore. It is what it is. We've got planning permission for 40 adverts around the pitch at any one time. So at the minute we were about 26, 28, maybe touching 30. Not all different companies. Some of them have duplicated, some have had 2. Some companies have sort of said, no, we've got a sister company, but they'll have 1. Some we've, for companies who've supported us, like the Bowling Alley in town, they've done the kits for this year for both our first and reserves. We've given them 2 because, it'll be funny, they've spent a lot of money for this. We can't then ask them for more to do X, Y, and Z. So we've said we'll do there for nothing. We help them out as much as they help us, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you also do things like player sponsors or match day ball sponsors, anything like that, Adam?
We do match day sponsors. We don't do match ball as such. It's normally match day sponsor, and the sponsor normally gets to choose the man of the match at the end of the day. We've done it last season for the first team. We thought about doing it for the reserves, but it's a bit harder because then you've got to find 40 people to do it. It's hard enough to find 20, let alone 40. So, it's been good. People want to help us as much as we can do. So.
Cool. So if any businesses who do hear this and decide they want to, get involved with you guys at Brandon and sponsorship wise, just go through the Facebook pages, the contact details, or speak to yourself and job done, mate, really.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, whatever they want to do. My phone's on 24/7 for work, so I'll always answer. And if I don't answer, I'll phone you back straight away. It's one of those things. The club's always looking for more to help, and we're never going to turn anything down.
Cool. I mean, speaking of more things to help and everything else, it's only right we mention it. You're not just really any club secretary, are you really? Because there was there was rather a prestigious award, shall we say, that you picked up last year.
Yeah, well, that was definitely unexpected. Definitely unexpected. Obviously, I was named the Anglian Secretary of the Year for last season. On a personal note, although unexpected, it was nice because obviously it shows that people are noticing what we're doing. It's all good people around the town saying, "Oh yeah, I've seen the pitch. The pitch looks fantastic," or "I've seen you've done those. They look amazing." You've got these to sponsor. You're super, excellent, well done. But to see people externally sort of recognise the efforts we're going to, it sort of makes it all worthwhile. It makes you realise that we are stepping in the right direction, and people are realising that we're putting Brandon back on it again.
Yeah, cool. So, is there any sort of? Is it like a yearly thing? The league committee sort of handout, or is it?
They do it. Yeah, it's every year they do, and we do it. The last few AGMs we've done it. We've been, and it's always done at the AGM. So it was I say, obviously AGM this year was a bit different. It was all on Zoom. And
is there any sort of protocol you got to follow that they sort of like, I don't know, score you on to see how you do come into the season for the award?
I have no idea. If there is, I know nothing about it. So
Cool.
it makes it even more of a fluke.
Well, to be fair, mate, you know, to win something like that out of the you know, the area, the region, however you want to put it, your paperwork and everything must be very thorough and very clear.
It's about organisation. I say to a lot of people about what I do, and people say you always seem to get stuff done. It's not getting stuff done; it's being organised. If you can be organised with it and get it done in like a routine and a system, everything falls into place. So I tried to send the fixtures and stuff like that on a Monday evening. Come home from work, get settled, sorted out with the little one, see the missus, get it sorted out, and then go from there. But spend an hour doing a bit of paperwork and submitting team sheets. All it takes on a Monday evening to do team sheets is an hour, and then just forward the next email on to the next opposition if we're at home the next week, and go from there. Yeah, it's done then. The hard bit's done for the week. It's just then it's the general day-to-day running stuff and checking up on bits and pieces.
Cool. So at the club, Adam, just top of your head, how many volunteers has the club actually got then?
Probably, it's about 10 to 15. Like I say, we've got Paul Wright, chairman. He's been in the club for 52 years. He's done everything. He has done every role possible, from player, manager, assistant manager, secretary, treasurer, vice chairman, and he's chairman. He's been chairman for the last 10 years, I think. We've got Mark Marriott, Adam Marriott from Kings Lynn. That's his dad. He's been. He obviously runs Star Transport, so they're one of the big club's big sponsors. He's been a massive help for the club over the years. He's been involved since he finished playing. Got a couple of others in the background, Taff, Bella. All the managers are on the committee, obviously, and they sort of help out behind the scenes. Molly, who was manager when I came in with Brandon, he's now behind the scenes. He doesn't really do managerial stuff. He helps with reserves plays if he can do. But then everyone sort of plugs together and helps behind the scenes. You know,
it sounds like you're a very nice, tight-knit club as well. And you also sound like many other clubs I've spoken to lately. It sounds almost like a family more than, you know, just a match day on a Saturday afternoon, mate, really.
Definitely. No, Reed told me this about 2 years ago. It's definitely the strongest committee they've had in the last 20 years. You know, and that's nice to know, because obviously that shows, because obviously him being involved for as long as he has been involved sort of proves that we are stepping in the right direction. Like I said earlier on, we're stepping in the right direction. We're pushing on, we're growing, we're moving, not stagnating and falling backwards. So definitely a strong committee. We seem to get the stuff done, and people want to progress.
Yeah, no, cool. I mean, at the end of the day, Adam, you know, it's like I say to everyone, without people like your good selves and the other volunteers, you know, basically you can put 11 players on a football pitch, but pitches don't mark themselves out. They don't put goals up by themselves. They don't cut the pitch by themselves. They don't do what you do by themselves. Without people like yourself, the volunteers, quite simply, football doesn't happen, really, does it?
No. People don't see it normally. You know, the stuff that we do, people don't see it behind the scenes, because the boys turn up on a Saturday afternoon, the goals are out. It will be different this year for us, because obviously the dugouts used to have to roll them out on wheels. But now the block dugouts, they're done. The fence barrier, we used to have to put a rope up around the pitch. That's done, because they've got the barrier up. You know, so now it is literally nets on the goals, wheel the goals in position, corner flags out, job done. You know, by doing what we've done in the development of the pitch with the goals and with the dugouts, with the pitch fence, we've knocked out 75, 80% of the work that gets done on a match day. It costs a bit of money to do it, but we've knocked it all out, and it takes the reliance on volunteers away, because everything is done now.
Excellent. So really, I mean, you know, obviously, like every club, you know, if anyone's also interested in volunteering, again, speak to the club through the social media channels or however, and get on board.
You see on a daily basis, clubs are saying we need this and this to help. Come and help us. Do this. When we applied for the dugouts and for the advert boards around the pitch, we had various complaints from the local residents, and one of the things I said in both my replies to every complaint we had was just give up a day or two. You don't have to give it up every weekend. Just give a few hours on a Saturday afternoon once or twice a season, and just see what we're doing behind the scenes before you criticise and moan that things look dilapidated or that things are ugly, they're an eyesore. Just have a look and see what's going on behind the scenes and see why we've done what we've done before complaining. So everything's been done. It's not been done to in a sense, piss people off. That's not what we're after. You piss people off, you're never going to get anything. We've done it to help. Because obviously, Riggs, 70, 71, 72, something like that. Mark's not a spring chicken. To me, it's getting older. But we need to get on with it and get it sorted out. So it takes the pressure off everyone. So people don't have to turn up at 1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon for 2 o'clock and rush around and get everything sorted. Or it gives people more time.
Cool. Well, as I do with every club, Adam, I'll push that for you on my end from social media for you for Brandon. That's not a problem. Just moving forward to a bit of light in the tunnel, shall we say? That pre-season's not really a million miles away. Who are the boys facing pre-season then, top of your head?
Where do we start? The first team, they start on the 7th. I think it's the Friday night. They're away at Thetford Town Reserves.
Yep.
We played them last year. I think we sort of blew them away at first. The first half, made a few changes and steady that. So hopefully that will be the similar sort. I know a few of the boys that play over at Town Reserves, so that'll be an interesting game. And then the week after that, we play Mumford home. That's in the Bob Farthing Memorial Cup. Raising money for Papworth Hospital on that one, and then I think it's Crohn's disease. But with Harvey at Mumford, we agreed that the match would be a sort of charity game. We'd split the proceeds 50-50, one for Crohn's disease and the other for Papworth Hospital. The week after that, first team travelled to Watton in the Royal British Legion Cup, which gets played every year. This year it's at Watton. Last year we had it at Brandon against Watton. The week after that, you've stumped on that one, but yeah, we've got some good games coming up. You know, higher opposition. You know, obviously Town Reserves playing the Thurlow Non-Reserve League. Mumford are in the Prem, Watton in Division 1. It's testing the water sort of thing, you know. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I was about to say, Adam, obviously that sounds like it's going to be a big physical and mental test for the lads, and it's what pre-season's all about, and see what happens then, really.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. The reserves, they're away at Mumford Reserves on their first game of the season. That's also on the Friday night on the 7th, which the Mumford are 2 leagues above. I think they stayed in Division 4 last season. So they're 2 leagues above the reserves. Obviously, with a new manager in place, and that's going to be a whole different experience there for them this year. So that'll be an interesting start to the season to show where them boys are. I think they're capable of playing the Anglian Com quite comfortably. You know, a lot of the reserve team boys were playing the Anglian Com Division 2 for us 2 years ago. So there's no reason why they can't get there again. So that'll be a good start.
Cool. Well, it sounds like, obviously, you know, it sounds really, you know, you couldn't ask for a better start, really. And, you know, all these cups, that friendly cups, everything else, I think it's just great for local football, the communities, everything else, and any charities. I think basically everyone's a winner, mate. And again, it comes down to you volunteers organising it, basically.
Yeah. Well, the Royal British Legion Cup, that money goes into the pocket bill. We raised over £200 last year for that, which is in the grand scheme of things, it's not a great sum of money. It's not a bad sum of money, but for that appeal, that's every little helps sort of that one, isn't it? You know, and then the Bob Farthing Memorial Cup, Bob died sort of in the middle of the pandemic, but he's the father of Will, who's the manager. So the farm family have donated the cup, and they've donated the gates around the pitches. They've done a lot for the club in the last 2 years since they've been involved. Will and Bob, they're Brandon boys, and football at the club is what they done for years. Probably turn up and watch the donkey sort of thing. So, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, we've touched on the first and reserves. Has Brandon got any youth set up at all or anything like that?
Yeah, got an awesome setup. We're different clubs in the sense of different committees, and we're close dealing. A lot of the youth team players sort of come up through the ranks. We've got quite a few that played for reserves last year. A couple just completely skipped the reserves and went straight into the first team. Young Jack Slater led, Brandon Youth at under 16. I remember he made his debut for us away at Thetford Rovers a couple of years ago. When 16-year-old boy, realistically, you'd expect him to be a bit intimidated, but he was jumping the tackles, he was nailing people, and he's a 16-year-old boy. He should not normally like this, and really a superb lad, really nice boy, and he'll play higher than what we get to. There is no doubt in my mind that he will play higher.
Sure. So basically, mate, just to finish on, I ask this to everybody who comes on, and 9 times out of 10, it's the same answer. However, what would you say is Brandon Town's message to, if we say the leagues for the first and the reserve to the other teams in the leagues, what would be the club's message to them for the season?
Well, it's a bit of a tough one, that. Come enjoy the football with us, enjoy the facility. We spent a lot of money, time, effort, blood, sweat and tears have gone into the club over the last 2 years. Enjoy what we've got, enjoy what we can do, stay for a beer after the game and enjoy your football. We do it for the love of the sport. We don't do it for financial gain. It costs me more than it does anything else. Yeah. But enjoy your football. I enjoy watching it. That's why, and I enjoy what I do behind the scenes. That's why I do it. If I didn't enjoy doing it, I wouldn't do it. So,
I mean, to be honest with you, Adam, the way you're talking, how everything is set up, the management with the idea and method with the pre-season, like you say, playing high opposition teams, etc. I guess whoever comes to Brandon Town is going to get one very physical, tough game, basically.
I wouldn't say physical. As such, the boys that we haven't got the biggest bunch of lads in terms of physicality and stuff. Skillful, very good players. Technically, we've got some very good players. We've got some technically very good young players coming through the ranks. We signed the other day Kieran Bruce, who was at Swaffham last season. He scored 18 and 23 goals, and they finished bottom of the table. To score 18 goals in a side that finished bottom of the table is very good going. So we're hoping that he'll come with the same sort of goal threat and the sort of threat for that, and with a decent service and sort of good back fence and back line, that we'll be all right with them. Hopefully he'll score the goals that'll see us through the season and get us up.
I was going to say, obviously, just touching on again quickly, I mean, obviously, how the season ended, just gone. I should imagine there's a little bit of unfinished business with the lads who want to basically start again what they hadn't finished, but finish it this time.
Yeah, agreed. That's definitely the mindset of the managers. There's a lot of people that sort of said, you were close, you were so close, you can't believe it sort of finished the way it did, but we can never change it. There's nothing going to happen there. But we've just got to make the best of the bad situation, get on with it, and push on again for next season.
Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It's been really enjoyable hearing from yourself as a volunteer and obviously doing virtually every role you possibly could do at a football club. And wish Brandon Town all the best for the season. And I'm sure I will be able to bump into your good self with a camera on the sidelines one day in the very close future. Yeah, no, you'll work. Anytime you want to come down, mate, just give us a shout, say you're coming, I'll make sure we're there. Lovely. Much appreciated, my friend, and I'll speak to you very soon about it. Yeah, no worries, mate. Thank you very much.